and let's see if I can find him, Zach Zamchick. Now, Zach, let's see if I can invite him this way. Okay. I'm going to ask him to go live with me. Zach Zamchick is someone who's been producing not just Shakespeare, but a lot of immersive. Zach.
Hello.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me on the show. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine. How about you?
Oh, I can hear you great, and thank you for having me. I might be towards
Certainly.
the bottom of my frame here. There we go.
Certainly. So, Zach, I got introduced to you through an old friend and colleague of mine, Jay Michaels, who I think is helping you with some of the stuff for your show. And you are, I believe your group is called Variety Life Productions.
That's correct.
So,
Yeah,
why don't, go ahead. Yeah, I was just going to ask you to tell us what Variety Life Productions is all about, when it started, how you got into all this stuff.
absolutely. So, Variety Life Productions is the brainchild of Kaitana Magno and Jimmy Sutherland. And they come from a nightlife background, but they also have a rich history. Kaitana was a ballerina, Jimmy was a tap dancer. It's kind of a variety infused nightlife company. And I got hooked up with them because I worked on the immersive experience Queen of the Night in Times Square a couple of years back.
I
And
remember seeing that show, and that was a really great show.
oh, I'm glad you saw it. It
Hmm.
was formative in how I learned to produce these kinds of events and how to do a show that feels luxurious to those who care about that, but also has nuance and a story for people who are looking for something deeper. And because Jimmy and Kaitana and I were both working for similar people, we met and have kept in touch. Our last show together was Carmen to Havana and Back, which was at the Public Hotel.
Hmm.
And this kind of follows in the same vein as that show.
Okay. All right. So for those who are not familiar or might have not have experienced what the immersive theatrical experience is like, I'll give you my little thumbnail summary, and then you can tell me if this sounds correct to you. Basically, it's not that you just have a stage where you have the actors on a proscenium, as in a traditional theater, doing a show, and the audience is sitting in their seats and just watching, and there's like a wall, that fourth wall between the audience and the performers. The performers are all around, they're in different spots around the venue, and the audience kind of drifts from one location to the other and interacts with the different people that are performing different scenes at different times. Would that about sum it up?
That sounds about right. I'd say, the first wildly popular immersive show was inspired by Shakespeare, Sleep No More.
Sleep
Uh,
No More, running strong.
and it is one part Macbeth and one part Hitchcock, right? That's the
Right.
fusion that they were going for. Um, our show, because of the current climate, and we want to make sure everyone feels comfortable to be in a space together, and not that they're claustrophobic or in tight quarters where they might have to breathe on each other. It does mostly happen around a central stage, but there certainly is ample opportunity to explore the space. You can dance if you want to. It's a very atmospheric, kind of vaudevillian experience.
Yeah, I remember when I mentioned, or you mentioned, Queen of the Night, which played in New York about maybe 8, 9 years ago. And there's elements of vaudeville elements. There's almost like a circus element to it. There's that burlesque element to it. There's a lot of different theatrical forms, a lot of different presentational forms that are melded into one presentation.
And one of the things that's special about this show, I'd say, because I've done a number of different shows in a similar format, but this one has an emphasis on tap dance and on rhythm, kind of inspired by iambic pentameter. And so we have these virtuosic tap dancers, many of whom will appear on Broadway next year in things like Funny Girl, people from Stomp who are also master percussionists. We have a national beatboxing champion, but is soon to be international. Um, and so we're really playing with, the lub dub of, the heartbeat of New York coming back. There's this whole thematic underpinning of it's time to gather again. Because Midsummer, while it's about jealousy and it's about transformation, it's also about connection. And it's connection between the four lovers. It's about how Bottom isolates himself from his own troupe. There's all kinds of connection going on in the piece, and God knows that after the years that we've had, we could use a bit of human connection right now.
So that brings us up to one of the biggest questions that have been surrounding the return to live performance here in New York, whether it's on Broadway, off Broadway, off Broadway, or whatever, is what does your group make of the return to theater in the age of the coronavirus? Do you have certain protocols with regard to how the audience is, or as it relates to the performers? Do the performers all have to be certified vaccinated? Does the audience have to present any kind of proof of a negative test? Something. What's your protocol?
Yep, we everyone in the venue, from our performers to our wait staff, are all fully vaccinated, and we have their records on file. We also ask that, well, each of our guests needs to provide proof of vaccination to enter, and we ask that people wear their masks when they're not actively drinking. There is a bar on site, and we've been working to navigate how to keep that safe. At the same time, our seating is spaced in such a way that you can keep your distance, and there's also some standing room if you'd like to further distance. But in terms of our outlook, our optimism, we're really excited to have audiences come back, and we've seen a great response to our marketing pushes, to Jay's great work on our press side. And so we're cautiously optimistic that we're moving in the right direction, and it really comes down to giving people agency. I think a lot of people, when they hear immersive theater, they feel like, oh, I might be split up from my group. I may have to participate and be put on the spot. And
Right.
all of those things make people feel like they have no control over their situation.
Right.
We're working really hard to make sure that if you don't want to dance, you don't have to dance. You'll have fun. The one thing that we're requiring people to do is dress up for a nice night on the town. Because we think that really elevates the experience for everyone, and it makes it memorable, and it makes it special. But that's, you don't have to go out and buy a new zoot suit for us. Just something elevated. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned iambic pentameter before. Before you came to this, what is your background in Shakespeare?
It's a great question. I was a Broadway kid growing up, so I was more on the musical sides of things than Shakespeare. But lately, I've had some great opportunities to work with people in the local Shakespeare scene. I worked with Food of Love Productions on
Sure.
one of the virtual offerings. Victoria's the artistic director over there.
Sure. Our friend Victoria, of course.
And I've also I've become friends with the Drunk Shakespeare crew. I've met a number of people who are playing with the form, and I'm hoping that we were planning a production of Romeo and Juliet before the pandemic, and I'm hoping we can get back into the swing of that.
Okay. Now, here's a question that I often pose to our guests here on this program, is that depending on who you ask, Shakespeare can either be something that really helps to sell tickets in New York. New Yorkers, a lot of them really love Shakespeare, or it could be a real turnoff for people. Some people just say Shakespeare, it sounds like a different language. I don't know what to make of it. What's your take on it? And what are you doing to make it easier for an audience to embrace the Shakespearean language?
Sure. I will say that when we were starting this project, I wasn't sure how much of the actual text was going to appear in the performance. And that means that true Shakespeare lovers and devotees like yourself, like, I wouldn't want you to come and feel like we had been disrespectful to the source material. I'm happy to say that a good amount of the language is in it, and we really have played into the story, so it happens interstitially throughout this variety performance, and you can really track the characters. But in terms of what sells, I don't know. I'm really loving. I love when Shakespeare is played to the masses. What was beautiful about Shakespeare in his own time was that he was doing things that worked equally for the royalty and the groundlings, right?
Absolutely right.
And
high humor, low humor.
Exactly, and we're trying to strike that balance too, and we're trying to you know, if there's Shakespeare that you're looking for, you're going to find it. And if you came just for a good time, we're going to sneak that Shakespeare into your ear, and you'll leave feeling a little more inspired than you came.
Right, right. That's it. That's it. You give everyone a little bit of what they're looking for, so the audience, wherever walk of life they're coming from, whatever avenue they're coming from, that they have something to grab onto and to connect with your show. So it sounds fantastic to me. Where can people go and find your website, your social media presence to connect with the show and get their tickets?
Absolutely. We are at midsummershakespearience.com. That's Midsummer, SHAKESPEARIENCE.com. And you can order tickets through the website. If you have any questions, you can also reach out to me. I'm Zach, ZACH, at VarietyLifeProductions.com. We're playing every Wednesday through Sunday at 8 p.m. starting this week. So we're just about to open. Everyone else is at the venue rehearsing.
That's fantastic. So you open this Wednesday night, the 13th.
That's right. And, you know, tickets are moving fast, which we're excited about. But what we're really excited about is bringing a new show to New York City and really creating a community around this thing. So it's been a ride so far, and we're sure there will be many more adventures to come as, you know, we look to add a nightlife component after the show. We look to judge the material based on feedback from the audiences. That's one of the really beautiful things about indie theater, but also immersive theater in particular, is that we're able to change things slowly over time. And that means that your night at the theater is absolutely unique.
That's fantastic. What's the runtime of the show?
It's 2 hours, and it starts at 8 o'clock.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Well, you heard it here, folks. I urge you guys to go check out Variety Life Productions and their new show, Midsummer, a Shakespearience. I'll put the link for the show in the text, in all the related materials to this interview. After this program concludes, the entire program will be saved on our Instagram page, so you can come back and watch the show in its entirety. I'll also make notes and with links to all of our interviewees, so you can just click on that link and go right into the page for Zach and Midsummer, a Shakespearience. All right, Zach, I wish you the best of luck. I hope to catch it myself. It sounds like a great project, and I wish you guys all the best with this Midsummer, a Shakespearience.
Thank you so much. We hope to see you at the show, and I really appreciate everyone coming to watch. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night, Zach.
Good night.
Okay, so we'll remove Zach, and we will ask our audience. Audience, are you liking what you're seeing so far? Any thoughts, any reactions? Send your hearts, send your thumbs up, send your questions, anything you want to pose either to Zach or to any of the other guests that we have coming up. We have a full program here tonight. We have